Hi. Thanks for joining us
Hi.
for this podcast. I'm so excited to welcome Patricia.
Thank
So,
you for having
Patricia,
me.
what's that?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my word. You're such a local influence here in business. And I'm just really excited that you're taking the time to join me with this podcast because I'm asking a really important question of women in the area. And before we get there, though, I just want to do a tiny intro here, and then I'm going to give you the floor to kind of just share a little more about what you do locally. But
Okay.
Patricia Muellen is the founder and owner of a local networking group, which is called Networking Group here locally. And I've
Yep.
had the honor of attending, and it's been really awesome. Like, totally better than other ones that
Yay.
I've been to. I mean, really, I love it. I think it's because you set the
Yay.
tone of just comfort.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us more about what you're doing these days.
Well, first of all, I think it's amazing what you're doing with your show, and congratulations. It is so scary to record yourself, and you've even inspired me to get my setup going. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And also for supporting other women and, providing the venue for them to feel free and talk about things and comfortable, and if, care about what it is that makes them kick and all that. So thank you for that, because it's an honor to be here. Uh, so there. Um, what I do, what don't I do lately? It's
Right.
a little crazy. Yeah. So my company is called Mullen Associates. I googled myself. It looked pretty cool. So that's why that I had a couple other companies actually that I have. Networking Group is one of them, and it just got going, and all these things just started happening before I had a chance to catch up with what I actually wanted to do when I grow up. So I'm still figuring that out. Networking Group is just kind of the center and of who I am as a person. I'm a super connector. I figured that out very early on in my 20s. I was really lucky with that. And I joined some other groups in town, and just um, really learned how to present myself and talk about something in a very short period of time. And I found more value in helping other people do that same thing versus trying to get referrals myself in those venues. And so I had friends that said we need to start a networking group, and about 9 years ago I started a networking group. 17 people showed up in a snowstorm. We had to plow a golf course to get them in, and I thought we're on the right track. That grew, and 9 years later we're still doing it. So every single Friday people get together and they just share about their business as you've come. The location and the business that invites us in to invade their space, they basically get time to showcase what they do, and we want to learn about them because this is our community, and knowing more about how we can help each other just makes it better, right? And so yeah, it's just a really great energetic way to kind of kick off your weekend. And I've it's changed my life personally, but just it just teaches people how to be really mindful of what the needs are of people around you, and how to effectively give referrals and help other people. And then that whole high tides raise all ships thing, people tend to give back. And so yeah, it becomes pretty valuable. It's pretty cool. So if you have not been,
Yeah.
please join us. Yeah, you can check us out, Networking SWMI, on Facebook, and there's all sorts of meetings from all over the community. It's crazy. But yeah, we support all sorts of networking opportunities in each other, and that's what it's all about.
Amazing. So here's a couple things that I noticed because I just attended this morning, right? And a
Yeah.
couple things that I noticed that is so clear. Number one, yes, what a blessing to nail your gifting so early in life that you were able to grow it and nurture it to what you're doing today. So amazing. And then the other thing too, it is so clear your love for uplifting the community, what's happening in the community, and teaching others how to lift each other up and spread the word about each other's businesses. It's so clear that that's in your heart to do it.
Thank you. Thank you very
Yes.
much. It's a lot of fun doing what you love to do. So it's pretty
Yeah,
easy
it
to
is,
me.
right? Totally, totally. So I'm really another reason I'm really honored to have you here is because I feel the perspective that you would have on what I would really love to just share with women who catch this podcast, which is the importance of knowing, you know, how you feel in your own mindset about your limitless potential. And that's the
Yeah.
reason I'm asking women to join me. So, as a matter of fact, I didn't even start with my usual plug in and talk about why we should watch this. I know we were chatting beforehand and I just kind of lost track with that. But let me say that real quick.
Yeah,
You know, I
share,
want to, yeah, share it. So, which is that that's the whole purpose and intention in this is helping women to feel comfortable and feel strong about their limitless potential. We all have the work to do to get there, but I think that hearing stories like yours and other women that will be joining, also hearing their stories and how they got there. You mentioned a key thing, recognizing your gifting early, is so huge to setting yourself up for that success. So I'm really excited to
Yeah.
ask you this question, which is, what does Limitless Woman mean to you?
Well, I feel honored that you're asking me this question because, I mean, I feel like, wow, I'm just starting out in my business, and, um, I don't feel like I should be the knowledge on some of this stuff sometimes, but, to me, I feel like when you are limitless, you don't have competition. And what I mean by
Mm.
that is, even if it's someone that's in the same category or business as you don't see them as someone that you're threatened by. You see that person and that other, woman or in particular, or man even, as someone that, you can connect with and help, because you just never know. And you might be able to help each other. We as women are just, I feel like, in the last maybe decade or couple of years, but there's this movement, and you're part of this, Princella. You really are, of empowering and lifting up other women and people around you. That's huge. And um, my description of a limitless woman is someone that makes it intentional to help other people. It's an emotional thing, but it's because it's your truth, and that's who you are. Um,
Mhm.
I have amazing
Girl, don't make me
people around
cry.
me. I have the most amazing tribe, really. Um, when you have the worst things happen to you ever, you find out that you have some of the best people in your corner, and some of those people in your circle don't necessarily stay, but yeah, I mean, that makes you limitless, right? Other people. So
It
yeah,
does, yes.
yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up this
Edit the
point
part out,
about,
me doing this part out.
I know, this point that you made about feeling as the person to answer the question. And that's actually what I'm hoping to bring out are the real life scenarios that we all face, because that's a part of the voice in the back of the head that says, you're not this, you're not that, you're not this, you're not that. I
Right.
still go through it. I'm sure that you do just as well as I do. And anybody listening goes through it. It's just not a thing to talk about, right? Um,
Right.
and that's what's so important about having the discussions and knowing that we all go there, and how we lift each other up in that moment is just, it's a refreshing thing to hear from someone else who has found their place and their space, that we still feel that way, you know. So thank you for your lovely words. I so appreciate it. And then the other thing that I would love to hear from you, maybe, or what are some things that kind of helped you get to the place where you are today? You had mentioned recognizing your gifting early. So was this something you kind of developed on your own, or did you have some influences in your life that really supported you in this, finding your path?
Both. Yeah, both, and both.
Yeah.
All of those things, adversity, just the things that happen to you that you have no control over, um, and then the people that push you and kick you.
Mhm. Yeah.
and force
It's
you.
huge. Yeah. I feel that because I've been there, you know, and when we're faced with these things that really test you, and you can
Yeah.
rise above it, maybe not in that moment. We all need a minute. You know, I went through something
Right.
a couple months ago, and I was literally, you know, in a not so positive place, we'll say, for like a week and a half. You know, and
Yeah.
when your game shifts and you're not expecting that to happen, but what
Yeah.
blooms out of that, the only way we can be thankful for it is to see what blooms out of those trials. And I'm happy that you've got to feel the love in your circle to lift you up, to remind you of what you are here for. Because, you know, I got to tell you, when I started this business, at least 3 different people said to me, "Have you connected with Patricia?" I'm telling you. Have you talked to her? Have you told her what you know? You are the first. You are the first name that people mention when we talk about business in the area. I'm not, no joke. So just thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you. No, thank you for saying that. Yeah, between, all the things that happen, kind of throughout your day, and when things disrupt your life, and you get, for me, I was trying to kind of figure out who I was and what am I going to reinvent myself as, and it was depressing as all get out, honestly, because I wasn't being true to my core and who I was. And
Yeah.
when I started just doing, authentic Patricia, turns out, that's when I found true joy and I was starting to become happy again. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. I mean, I don't even know people ask, what do you do for a living? And I don't have a good answer because there's so many different things that I'm trying to wrap my brain around.
Yeah.
But it's all centered around the same thing, so I'm figuring it out, but I'm happier than I've ever been, which, um, I'm very thankful for my husband. And, that goes back to your support. And, he might not realize when I say tribe, he's part of that, and
Yeah.
I think I'm the chief, but what but yeah, I mean, even in the people in networking, they're part of your tribe, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
people that support you. I went to this event last night, and it was called the Women Among Women. That was
Oh yeah.
amazing. There was all these
Yeah.
these women, and they were just talking about it, kind of an intimate topic, and every person was open to share, and it was incredibly diverse from all different backgrounds. And it's an old friend of mine that I've known for a really long time, and I've been meaning to get there, and I finally got there, and I was like, wow, I've really been missing out, because I think we're all craving authentic people to surround ourselves with. And you kind of become who you surround yourself with, and it's a really good, smart thing to surround yourself with better people and smarter people, and just people that you want to become like. And I feel like the people that I'm around, and that I'm just so blessed because I have really good people in my life. And in the toughest times, they come out for you, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Even crazy ideas like, let's get together 7:30 on a Friday morning and have coffee at someone's random business, uh, becomes, a thing. And, they join you and they share about it, and, they want to be a part of it. So, um, yeah, I think it's all about who you lift up around you and who you help and support and who does the same for you. And we
Yeah.
only have so much time on this
Beautiful.
planet. We need to make sure that the people that we surround ourselves with are worth the time and the gifts that we have to give them. So
Yes. Yes. And I feel like we can talk all day about the there's a lot of beauty in
let's
putting yourself
talk all
out
day.
there. There's a lot of beauty in putting yourself out there, talking about just talking about yourself. But what I meant to say was just
Mhm.
putting yourself out there, period, to attend, to show up, to be there
Yeah.
physically, and
Mm.
that's one thing that with your group that you make it so easy to be able to do, because it's so warm and inviting. But the thing is that not every event is going to be that warm and inviting. And we still have to put ourselves out of our comfort zone to find that joy that you're talking about and
Yes.
make those connections with people.
This,
And I shared
well,
with you how it's a little more comfortable for me to talk here on the video. Face to face, I get nervous, you know, and so I had to force myself to go out there and put myself out there, you know, and it's not easy to do. But the
mm,
rewards of doing it, taking that step forward, immeasurable. And I'm sure that that's why you do what you do, part of it anyway.
well,
Yeah.
absolutely. And yeah, we that discussion just came up the other day at another meeting about how not every meeting is the same as what we're used to. And my answer to that is, well, every party is the people that brings the party to the table. So, if you go to a space and you don't feel comfortable, you know, be the person that's the well person, and be the person that walks up to the person in the corner and engage with that person and make that person feel welcome, and I do that at other people's parties all the time. I don't really care. um, for me, it's just fun to show up to some of this stuff and not have to plan it. But just because you walk into a place and you're uncomfortable, you're forgetting every other person that walked in probably felt the same way. And if they don't, at
Yeah.
some point in their lives when they started, they probably felt uncomfortable. So we just have to make it a point to put good energy out and ask questions. I like talking to strangers and doing what my mom told me not to do growing up. So, for me, it's not, I like being in big rooms and doing that. And my husband, who used to not necessarily be like that, he's very much like that. And yeah, so for me, it's a lot of fun because it's like, oh, what's your problem? And then I want to connect you with the next person.
Yeah.
But not everybody's
Yeah.
like that, right? You might not be the person to do that, but you might be the person that changes someone's complete night because you were uncomfortable, but then you went and you talked to somebody else and you shared your story, and maybe that person had this amazing background or story, and you were like, you got to come on my show.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Right. Right.
When I'm not peopling, I'm introverted. I don't want to people. I've got fur kids. I yeah, it just I do the energy when and I get energy from other people during those events and things. But when I'm home, I love being home. I love spending time with my husband. When I was in my 20s, my goal was to go out at 9 o'clock. Now my goal is to be in bed in my pajamas at 9 o'clock. And, it's like they're getting thicker and furrier pajamas as I get older. But, I don't care. I'm comfortable and I'm in bed and I want to watch Netflix or whatever. So, yeah, I think we just all have our own zones and abilities to do the networking and things. And not everybody has to do it at a bar at 7 o'clock at night either. There's early morning things
Yeah.
like with us. There's all sorts of things in our community. I mean, we've got countless opportunities, men and women, not just, gender or age specific. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. Great point. Well, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for the love and transparency that was so clear in sharing your passion around this topic. And it's so needed to talk about these things in full transparency. And I'm very happy that we were able to connect in this way and have this kind of discussion for people to hear and hear the heart behind it. It was so clear. And so thank you so much for joining me.
oh, thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share. It was actually very therapeutic.
Me too. For me too, Jesse. Okay, so thank you so much for joining, and I hope you continue to watch in the next series of videos that we'll have coming up. And if you have something to share about this topic, I'd love for you to send me an instant message and let me know. I'd love to have you on to have this discussion, hear about your experience and your view on what being a limitless woman means to you. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye, Patricia.
Bye.